If you want to know whether or not a marriage is going to work, you know what the number one indicator is? You can use this in marital counseling.
Tell me.
And the data. How many sexual partners does the woman have?
Oh.
Yeah. If it's 5 or more, the marriage almost will not work out. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see
But
because
it sounds sexist, but it actually doesn't matter how many the man has had.
no. Well, this is a great.
Meaning it's not an indicator. It matters spiritually.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, you said something that people need to know about, people need to hear, especially the young people, is that a woman who, I'll just use the term, samples the field.
Yeah, fine.
She thinks she's liberated. She thinks she can do what a guy does in that area. I'm not condoning the conduct, but she's so made different that what happens is it's an imprint upon her
100%.
that it's so forever for her. And if she has 5 or 10, there's an imprint where the guy, and again, I'm not bashing guys, but a guy is more forgetful. He's not he's not impressionable that way. He does great in a monogamous, long-term relationship is where he flourishes, and that's where the intimacy is meaningful to him. And that's actually what she needs, what she wants, and she doesn't know it. She thinks, I'm going to be like a guy. Well, you can't be like a guy because we don't take all that stuff seriously.
Hello, everybody. I literally just went live. I actually had this stream set up for like 6-8 months. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do it now. And then I did it and I was live and I was like, oh, no one's here. It was set in private. So I just stop and like redo the whole thing. So what's up, guys? So I just wanted to do this stream because I had been setting it up for a long time. So what's up, Jenny? What's up, Wicked? What's up, Richard? It's good, guys. So I'm just going to jump right into it in case anyone watches this afterward. But basically it's, does body count affect marriage, the success of your marriage? And a lot of women will say, no, it doesn't matter. But there's actually science and research that says otherwise. So they're saying that a woman who's had more than 5 sexual partners, that it drops down to like 20% success rate of that she'll have a long-term relationship, a successful one. And if you look at like women that have had sex with a lot of men, you guys, you know, those types of people, like, you notice how those women are kind of like out there. They're kind of crazy, right? And it's because they take on all of the energy of the man. Like women receive energy and men give the energy. And so like they're taking on, first of all, we talked about on one of my other shows of how they hold on to that man's DNA forever, right? It stays in their body. And so they're taking on all these traits of these men. They have all of these different men's energy and all of these soul ties to all these different men. And so they're crazy, right? You know, they say like, oh yeah, you know, like these bad bitches, they're crazy, but they're like good in bed, right? Because, you know, they sleep around a lot, but it makes them crazy, right? So I found some research. I did this like almost a year ago, some articles and stuff. So numerous studies have shown this. In fact, nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by women. This is according to a 2015 research study conducted by the American Sociological Association, which suggests 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women. Among college-educated women, this number jumps up to 90%. And I think that jumps up to 90% for college-educated women because college women are always looking for their superior, right? Women date up, right? Men date down. Men are perfectly content dating that McDonald's worker, dude. A woman's not going to do that. If she's an educated woman, she's not dating a McDonald's worker. You have to make at least the same amount of money as her, if preferably more, right? So that's why I think that they initiate those. It's just my opinion. But women are women more likely to cheat. So like, if you look at the actual numbers here, for a woman that has like, she's less likely to cheat if she's only had sex with 4 partners. If she's had sex with 9, she's more likely to cheat, right? And I had some other, actually just realized I have some other better information on this that I just thought of. Have more hold on, bear with me guys. I totally forgot about that. I'm missing this part. But I have some studies that are talking about the actual numbers, like of body counts, which I don't think I have those on here. So hold on, let me pull those up. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, cool, I got it. It's just loading. Okay, so here's the numbers, guys. So this goes to 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Okay, look at zero partners. All right. And this is the amount that they're likely to cheat, like 21%, right, in the 70s, right? And then as the partners get up there, it starts, or sorry, 2%. Oh, how does this go? I'm trying to think how this works. So is it 14% less? 14%. Oh, this is marriage. This is success of marriage. That's what this is. So wait, is that what this is? Sorry, guys. I haven't looked at this in like almost a year. 13%. I can't remember if this, I think it's success of marriage, or is it women that cheat? Women's premarital sex partners by marriage. Oh, okay. I know what it is. 30%. If they've had sex with one partner, it's 43%. I don't remember what that means. Sorry, guys. I'm totally unprepared. The 43% likelihood of success of the marriage. Scrap this, guys. Sorry. I don't know what that is. But estimates say that 41% of first marriages will end in divorce. As many as 60% of second marriages won't make it, and 73% of the third ones don't make it. So this guy, we're talking about housework. So that's another thing. Women are saying, well, you know, they have to do most of the housework. So that's why, you know, it doesn't work out. So like this guy's saying, in addition, women often find that their husbands are not supportive when they're highly successful in their careers, right? So they found that over 6,000 American heterosexual couples over 15 years, many men experience psychological distress if their wives made more than 40% of the household income in a marriage. So if a woman has high expectations and responsibilities from her career, high expectations and responsibilities at home, and does not have support from her husband on career advancement, she may not find the marriage to be in her best interest anymore. And what I think is, it's not necessarily that she has all of these high expectations. Like, what about the guy's expectations that he has to take care of too, right? I think it's more that the woman has all of these responsibilities, and she sees that her husband, if she's making more than her husband is, they just lose interest, dude. They don't want to stick around. If your wife is better than you, like I've heard these stories about the guy that's supportive, and you know, he holds it down while the wife goes to college and she gets her career and gets everything going. And then once she's done, then he's hoping that she's going to support him and then he can do his thing. But what happens a lot of times is, like, she gets her career going and all that stuff. And then, you know, he's just doesn't have anything because he's been taking care of the kids or whatever. And she's like dating down now. And then she's like I say, women always want to date up. So then they're like, oh, what is this guy? She loses attraction for you, dude. I think has a lot to do with it. But this one is talking about premarital sex. So for women specifically, Earlier onset of sexual activity also predicted lower marital satisfaction. Conversely, people who only reported having sex with their future spouses prior to getting married tend to have reported higher marital quality compared to their peers who reported other premarital sex partners. So the variation in marital quality across premarital sex partners is not particularly large. There's little difference in effect size between 2 and 10 previous partners. Consistent with this pattern, persons with multiple sex partners prior to marriage report higher rates of divorce, though the association between the number of premarital sex partners and divorce rates is not monotonic. In contrast, women who marry as virgins have disproportionately low divorce rates. So like back in the old days, like it's like 60% now, or 50% of marriages end up in divorce. Back in the old days, like our grandparents, it wasn't like that because they would have sex with one person, right? They were virgins. So it works out. But like this thing with the housework, right? Wives still take their husband's surnames and sometimes are pressured to do so. Husbands still expect their wives to do the bulk of the housework and the bulk of the childcare. What's more is that other studies have shown that women, when both parties in a marriage are employed full time, the woman in the relationship still does more housework than the men in the relationship. Okay, well, what about the men? Like, does the woman do the yard work too? Right? Does the woman change the oil? Does the woman fix the stuff around the house too? Right? Like, there's gender roles, you know what I mean? So like, what about all the stuff that the guy does? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. Like, the man is supposed to do like half of the women's job also, and all of the man jobs. Like, I don't think that the women are out there, oh, hey, honey, let me help you change the oil, or like, hey, let me do that. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe they are, but it doesn't seem very realistic. Okay, so this study showed that on average, an average day in 2018, 20% of men did housework such as cleaning or laundry, compared with 49% of women. What this tells us is there is an inequality in the average household when it comes to domestic duties and labor among men and women. For married parties who have at least similar responsibilities from a full-time career, it is still women who are doing more of the work around the home as well. Even when both men and women have full-time jobs, women typically have more childcare and household chores responsibilities. Usually this workload is unequally distributed, leading women to experience more significant fatigue than men. I mean, I think that there's gender roles, you know what I mean? So they don't talk about the yard work and all the stuff that the guy does. They just talk about the laundry and the dishes, you know what I mean? But can you guys read this graph? Because I can't remember how the hell this works. But basically what it was saying is, I don't remember what these percentages are, but the higher the partners are, the lower the percentage. I don't know if this is success rate, because that still seems low with one partner, 43% in 1970. I can't remember, but it's less likely. Like, if you're a woman that sleeps around, and like a lot of times women will be like, oh, you know what, I can sleep around, guys do it, I can do it too, right? And they think that, but like, women are biologically different than men. So women, they create this hormone. It's a pair bonding hormone, and it's called oxytocin, right? And men have it too, but women have more of it. So when you hug someone for like 20 seconds, you release oxytocin. It's bonding you to that person. And that's why women have more of that. So when women have sex, they create these soul ties. They bond to this person. They can't just sleep around like men can, right? It's biologically hardwired. So like men, like I talk about in tribal times, are supposed to spread their seed. So we can't just get tied down to one woman, right? Women, they're pregnant for 9 months. They can only reproduce every 9 months. But men can impregnate 10 women in a night, right? To ensure the survival of the species. Now, of course, we haven't evolved yet, like I said, because of the population explosion. So it's not really like that anymore, but we haven't evolved yet. But that's why a woman, that's how she bonds with her child. When a woman has a child, the baby's a stranger. So Mother Nature is designed a way for a woman to instantly bond with that child to ensure the survival of the species. So as she's nursing her baby for the very first time, she's just flooded full of oxytocin right then to instantly bond her to that baby, to that child. So it's the same thing when you're having sex with some dude. You're bonding to him. So when you bond with all of these dudes, you got, 30 guys that you bonded with. How are you supposed to settle down with someone and you don't even realize that it's going on? It's like in the back of your head, you know what I mean? You don't even realize it. Yo, what's up, John Winchester? You do 500% of the housework. Like one time I was in a relationship where I was the only one working and she wouldn't have a job, but we were paying half the bills. So it wasn't like I was paying all the bills, but I was the only one that had a job. And I was also like doing a lot of cleaning and shit. Like I would have to clean the kitchen. Like she just wasn't motivated to do stuff. And I can't just live dirty. So I would just end up doing it. And she was like, oh, I'll do it. I just don't want to do it when you want me to. But I can't just like live in a dirty house. So I would just end up doing it. And like I would vacuum every day and like do all this stuff. And I was like, why am I doing all this extra shit? I'm the only one that has the job. You know what I mean? So I kind of know what it's like to do house chores and stuff too, and be the only one working. Yeah, it's the love chemical. Oh, do you clean houses? Is that what you do? Yeah. So, yeah, I was a little unorganized. I actually had this thing down pat when I was doing it the first time, but I kind of got lost in it. Oh, you own a housekeeping business? Okay. So that's just my opinion. I think that women that have a high body count, I think that the marriage is just less likely to last, and that's the reason, because of all the soul ties that they create with all these dudes. You know what I mean? They're designed differently. You know what I mean? So you take like let's see, from a woman. Let's check this out. From a woman.
It's different for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you look back at biology and evolutionary psychology, the man's whole goal is to spread his seed as far and wide as possible. You look at a woman, she can literally only carry one baby at a time, but from one man for a period of 9 months. It's literally completely different from a biological level. And then number two, when you look at the emotional impact, men are very oftentimes able to separate emotions and sex. Can we not all agree that women are a little bit more emotionally invested in their sexual encounters than men are? Therefore, a woman who has slept with 100 people is going to affect her mentally, spiritually, emotionally, far more than it ever would a man. Also, pair bonding is another very important topic that I saw somebody bring up, that for women, after 10 bodies, there are statistics that show it is actually very difficult for her to devote herself.
It's very difficult for her to devote herself to one man if she's after 10. And like today, like the average, I looked it up, is like 5 men for the average woman in the United States. And some women think that's low. Like I kind of thought it was low. I thought it was higher, but that's the average, but there's a lot of women, especially younger ones that are, they're already at 20, and they're 20 years old. You know what I mean? And then like in the old days, women used to settle down like right after high school, right? And nowadays it's not like that. Women want to, they want to hoe around in their 20s while they're like in their peak. And then when they hit 30, then now they want to try to settle down, right? But like when a woman's in her peak, like when she's 20 years old, because women are born with their value, right? Like a woman, it's a beautiful woman and she's in her youth, she's 20 years old. She's able to just go onto a yacht with the millionaires based solely on her looks, right? She already has her value. She's born with it. A 20-year-old man who doesn't have anything going for him, those millionaires aren't letting him on the yacht, dude. You have to have something, right? Like men have to create their value. So a man who's hustling hard in his 20s and then now he's 30 and now he's created his value, he's been established, he has a career. And then a woman's 30, well, she's starting to decline with her value. Men at 30 usually are just starting to create their value now, right? So it's opposite. And then they wonder why like no one will settle down with them. And they have these high expectations. They want a high value man, but a high value man is not going to want that. Why would he settle down with you after you just hoed it up in your entire 20s, dude, and your body count's 50? When he's a high value man, he could find a woman that's 20 and he's 30 who's like, a good woman, only had sex with a couple people, right? Like think about it from a man's perspective. Why would he want to choose a woman that has sex with 100 dudes? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. But women, they think that they retain their value, you know what I mean, when you don't. And then the older you get, the less value you have, like you're not going to hold down some like high value dude as you get older like that. And then there's a lot of women don't like this dude. Like I know a lot of women hate Andrew Tate and they hate this other guy that what's his name? Marion dude. But I mean, he's some of the stuff that Marion dude said, I don't like either, or Andrew Tate either. Like I think Andrew Tate said once, oh, if a man cheats, it's a workout or some shit. Like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with cheating. Like if you find your person, I'm content with just being with that one person. I don't want to have sex with other people, but this Marion dude makes a really good point on this video right here.
I look at women as tape, okay? And what I mean by this is that when you take a piece of tape, right? And from the beginning, you take it off the roll and you put it on the table. It's very sticky, right? The first time you attach it on. But then when you pull it off and put it back on again, it becomes less and less sticky the more times you do that. Okay. So the more surfaces you put the tape on, the less sticky it becomes. When women are sex workers, they effectively have no stickiness left. They're able to jump from guy to guy, different surface to different surface, and they're no longer a good partner. And a piece of tape that isn't durable and can stand on the table is useless. It can't hold what I call a relationship together. So when a woman effectively sells herself and she becomes this tape that's been used everywhere, the stickiness is gone, and that is her most important asset.
Like people say, well, guys can do it, then women can. Well, like if I take my soda, just like an analogy, and I pass it around, like if you have a soda, you have a Sprite, and you pass it around, and like 10 people grab the outside and it just passes around, and it gets back to you. Would you still take a drink out of it? I would, right? But let's say you take those same 10 people and you pass it around, and they each dip their finger in your soda. You're gonna take a drink of it now, right? It's just different. You know what I mean? But so like 50% of marriages end in divorce, and women initiate, they said 70% of those. It's up to 90% too if they're college educated. And I think they initiate the divorce because women love opportunistically, right? Like they love you for what you bring to the table. And if you ever stop bringing that thing to the table, then they're just going to lose interest in you and they just leave you, You know what I mean? Like men love for real. I feel like when a man like makes a good career, you know, and he's making good money, he's like, yeah, I can have a family now. I can take care of a family. Like when a woman makes a bunch of money, she's like, oh yeah, now I don't need no man. It's like the opposite. You know what I mean? Like a woman makes a lot of money and she becomes empowered and like she doesn't need anyone. And a man has a different thought process. And so that's why I think that a lot of women now with the workforce and this whole women can do anything a man can do and women in the workforce and stuff. So, you know, they get good careers and now their expectations are so high. You know, if they make 150,000 a year, now they need a guy that makes 200,000. You know, with the percentage of people that make $200,000 a year, it's like 2%. You know what I mean? And then he has to be 6 foot and he has to be, you know, this and that. And now now we're down to 1%. And, you know, he's got to have full head of hair and he's got to be buff and all that. Now we're talking like 0.2%, dude. Like the pool just gets smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? It's just like unrealistic. Let's see what this lady has to say.
Body count matters. People who are saying that it doesn't for a woman are just point blank either have a high body count or you're lying to yourself, okay? When you have sex with a man, you are parabonding with that man. He is entering your body, okay? And the more men you continue to have sex with, the less likely you'll be satisfied with one partner. That is why women are just letting go of good men because you done too many men. Stop giving your body away. Learn to be selective with who you share your body with. If you are continuing to give your body away, your price is going down. No matter what you tell yourself, okay? You're not as valuable as a woman who has less sexual partners. And that's just the truth. So instead of just laying down with every man you meet, why don't you actually take time to get to know people and understand who you're sharing your body with and your energy with? It is very important, ladies.
Mm-hmm. And it's also like, you know, depending on, people are always looking for their counterpart, right? So, you know, if you have a woman that's a 5, you know, she's not really that attractive, but, you know, she's had sex with, let's say, you know, 10 people. That's like a really lot, right? But like, you know, people can, or, you know, she can't really have sex with maybe as many people as like the girl that's a 10, you know? So like if a girl's a 10 and she's had sex with 10 people, that might not be as many, you know, if you look at it in perspective like that. Same thing with the guy, you know, if a guy's kind of like dorky and, you know, he works at McDonald's and he had sex with 30 chicks, it's like, that's like super high body count, right? But the guy that's like super successful and like dashing good looks and he's only had sex with 10, that's like super low. If he had sex with 30, that might be low. You know what I mean? So you got to take that into consideration too, because people are always looking for their counterpart, right? Like if you look at couples, typically they'll be about the same looks wise as them. They'll make a, you know, they'll be in the same category. Same thing with like your friends, right? Like however much money you make, most of your friends make about the same amount of money as you, right? So if you make 50,000 a year, most of the people that you talk to and are friends with make about 50,000 a year, right? You probably don't have that many millionaire friends, if any. People who are millionaires don't have that many friends that make 50,000 a year, right? It's your demographic. People always with their counterpart, right? And then, you know, like women too, women always like to keep like backups. You know what I mean? They have like people they're friends with on Facebook, right? They like clearly like them, but like they won't delete them from Facebook because it's just their childhood friend. But like, why wouldn't you delete them if it makes your partner feel good? You know what I mean? Like this guy clearly likes you. You're not going to delete him from Facebook to make me, I'm supposed to be the number one person. Why wouldn't you do that for me? Right. That's because they always want a backup. You know what I mean? What if it doesn't work out? You know, I need to have this backup plan. And then like women cheating is like, I feel like if a man cheats, like he has to put in work to cheat, right? Like he has to go and like talk to girls and initiate conversations and like work at it. A woman, if she wants to cheat, she just has to open up her DMs, dude, and like pick a guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's also the difference too. Like women can just get sex whenever they want, right? It's not difficult for them. For a man to have sex, he has to put in work. So that's another factor too of why it's different for men than it is for women. Is women don't have to work for it. For a woman to cheat, all she has to do is stop saying no. Yep, that's true. She just has to stop saying no. Even women that aren't super, good looking by traditional standards, even them, they could get laid easily if they want to. It's not an issue. They just have to go on a dating app. That's it. And they'll find people to have sex with if they want. That ain't happening for dudes. I don't even care if you're like super good looking. You could be like the best looking dude on the planet, dude. You could just be like, you could be 6'2", chiseled abs, great, what's it called? Facial structure, whatever it's called. But if you're like socially awkward and not confident, like you're not getting laid, women aren't going to like you. You actually be better off being confident and like average looking than you are dashing good looks and really passive. You know what I mean? Because women it's different of what women say they want versus what they respond to. So like a woman will say, oh, he has to be 6'2" and good looking and make this much money and blah, blah, blah. But if you're just super confident, they're hardwired to just be with that confident man because that is hardwired into her brain. Ooh, confidence. He's a leader, right? It's like attraction is not a choice. There's switches that can be flipped to make a woman attracted to you. If you're confident, it's hardwired. He's confident. He's a leader. He's a leader of men. He will ensure my survival of me and my offspring, right? It all goes back to tribal times, dude. Just like caveman days. It's just instinctual. Let's see what this one is.
When a woman loses her first boyfriend, it's a heartbreak. It's Taylor Swift. It's 2 years by herself. It's crying every day. It's writing in her diary. It's a big deal. Women become desensitized to losing their man. By the time they lose their 10th man, they don't give a fuck. And they're out in the club next day getting a new man. Men, no matter how many women we sleep with, retain the capability and ability to fall in love with the right woman because we fall in love via their innocence. If you give a man, no matter how many women he slept with, a good enough woman, he will fall in love with her anyway. Whereas a woman can't. If a woman slept with enough men, you can give her the best man, and she will never fall in love with you because she's broken now.
Yeah, like men take breakups. Men are the ones that end up unaliving themselves over breakups. Women don't do that. If they do, it's very small percentage. It's like 90-something% of the men that unalive themselves over breakups. Well, men are the ones that unalive themselves anyways, more than women, but over breakups, it's the guy that does it because they take it so hard. You know what I mean? Like, if I really love a woman, it'll take me a good like 2 years to get over you. Like, it'll take me a good year of no contact whatsoever to like be like not think about you a lot. You know what I mean? Good 6 months before like I'm finally not like just feeling down all the time. And then after a year, like I'm doing pretty good. But it's a good solid 2 years before I'm like over you. Maybe more, maybe 3. So, yeah. So what's up, John? What's going on, bro? What's new with you, man? Oh, check that. This one's fun. This one's crazy, dude. Check this one out.
She left her husband to be with as many men as possible after she got diagnosed with terminal cancer. And to say the internet is divided would be an understatement. But I want to know what you think. Molly was 42 when she got breast cancer. She beat it and was given hormone therapy. In most people, that causes a massive decrease in bedroom drive, but Molly saw a massive increase. A couple years later, her cancer came back, and it was terminal. She would have a couple years to live at best. During that time, she said she fell out of sync in the bedroom with her husband. But acts in the bedroom were the only thing that made her dying self feel alive. So she divorced her husband of 15 years and slept with nearly 200 men before passing away. During that time, she wrote about it on her blog and talked about it on her podcast. And it was such an unusual story, it's now become a TV series on Disney Plus of all platforms.
Dude, that's just so disrespectful to your man, man. How embarrassing that would be for a woman to do that to you. Like, make it all public and shit. Like Jada Smith, when she did that shit to Will Smith, dude. Dang, man, that's cold to do that to another person. Oh, yeah. Some plumbing bills, huh? You're renovating it? You doing the electrical too? Yeah, that's true. She didn't actually love him. There's no way. You can't love someone and do that to him. That's cold-blooded, man. What's up, Wade? Um You're way too stupid to do electrical. It's hard, dude. I mean, to be an electrician, I think, I don't know, I'm biased, but they're the smartest ones of all the trades. And I know that because I don't think I'm that smart. I'm like average intelligence, and I felt so stupid. Like in school, I was never good at school, but these people like already knew all what they were talking about. Everything was like foreign to me. I was like, what are you even talking about? All the math equations and, all this different stuff. I'm like, how do you guys already know this? It's difficult to learn. There's so much science involved in electrical. You know what I mean? When everything else, there's, some math and stuff, but it's not the same. Like, to be an electrician and be, have your license, they want you to basically be like an electrical engineer, pretty much. You have to really understand the science and how it works. Yeah, I agree. And, not all women are like that too, Not all women are like that. It just seems like a lot of the like newer, like younger women are like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, and Otter Troll is saying, "Oh, that I photoshopped that picture of his wife, dude. I didn't photoshop that picture." And all of his people that follow him just believe anything he says. Oh yeah, you did. You photoshopped that. I don't even have Photoshop. I've never photoshopped a video or a picture in my life. You know, I'm good at like basic stuff. Like, I can hook up lights and I know how to hook things up. Like, I know how to install equipment, but like understanding the exact science on how it works, not really. I never was a very good troubleshooter, but I can do some stuff. I actually fixed some electrical in this house. I fixed the three-way switches. They were hooked up wrong. I fixed this outlet that was messed up. I fixed a couple things. That switch never works though, but I had to fix it because the switch didn't work. So I had to run it. So they're just hook it up to constant power instead of the switch leg. So now it's just constant. And so I have to turn the light on like manually with the lamp. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. So I just wanted to do this little show thing. So thanks for coming in. I actually have a video on this channel that's dropping on Saturday. It's kind of like an audit. It's an auditing Erie County showcase video. And it's a good one. Maybe you might have seen it already, but it's going back up. And I actually get permission to showcase videos. I don't just steal people's work and then throw it up. So, yeah, any video that I've done showcase wise, I had permission to do. Like some people used to give me a hard time in the comments about me showcasing all those Bay Area transparency videos. Why would we watch it on your channel? We could just go to his, or you're just trying to piggyback off Bay Area, the GOAT, and make money off him and stuff. I'm like, dude, you idiots. Like he asked, do you think I would just play his videos wholesale? Like they were just wholesale, dude. I just did a little intro and played his whole video. You think that I would do that to him if he didn't ask me specifically to do it? You morons. Like people are dumb, dude. So, all right, guys, thanks for coming in. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. Good Turkey Day. Be thankful for something. All right, bye.
I look at women as tape. Okay. And what I mean by this is that when you take a piece of tape, right? And from the beginning, you take it off the roll and you put it on the table. It's very sticky, right? The first time you attach it on. But then when you pull it off and put it back on again, it becomes less and less sticky the more times you do that. Okay. So the more surfaces you put the tape on, the less sticky it becomes. When women are sex workers, they effectively have no stickiness left. They're able to jump from guy to guy, different surface to different surface, and they're no longer a good partner. And a piece of tape that isn't durable and can stand on the table is useless. It can't hold what I call a relationship together. So when a woman effectively sells herself and she becomes this tape that's been used everywhere, the stickiness is gone, and that is her most important asset.